Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Rachael with Applegate and Dillman Elder Law, and I have the privilege of hosting a virtual cafe this afternoon with Realtor Steve Rupp of Keller Williams Realty. So, welcome, Steve. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Rachel. Glad to be here.
We're glad you're here, even if it is from the comfort of your home. That's one of the things we wanted to talk about today was, as a realtor, what are you guys doing during this time? And a few other things, but let's start there.
Sure. So things have slowed down a little bit for every industry. Real estate is certainly not excluded from that. In the governor's order, we were deemed an essential business, so we can continue to work. And obviously, there's a lot of changes that are going on right now that are affecting people's decisions to either A, look at houses, or B, put their houses on the market. So a couple of things that we have been doing and conversations that we've had with our clients have been the following. Number one, if you have to buy or sell, and let's face it, there will always be a time where somebody has to buy or sell a house.
Right.
We encourage you to do it safely and healthy. And there are some additional precautions that we are requiring of all of our clients, both buyers and sellers, to employ during this time to make things safer and healthier for everyone and still abiding by CDC guidelines. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, for sellers, if you have your home on the market and you feel comfortable with leaving your home on the market and continuing to show it, first of all, expect your showing activity is going to go down significantly over this time. However, there is still activity happening. And I will reference some numbers from yesterday that we had. So there were 144 new listings for the last 24-hour period. There were 115 pendings and 77 solds. And houses are selling in about 12 days for almost 99% of asking. And these are all sourced from the Metropolitan Indianapolis Board of Realtors for their entire service area. So while this is our typical busy spring market, there's still activity that is happening. Again, people still have to buy and sell. So if you do have your house on the market, talk to your agent about what type of safe practices that they're encouraging you to take, which should be the industry standard practices that we have been taught to explain to our clients and hold buyers accountable to as well. If you're in the second group of people, and those are the people who are not ready to put their home on the market, or quite frankly, not feeling comfortable putting their home on the market. There's a lot of people out there that feel that way. There are.
Lots of people like that.
Then one of the things that we are strongly recommending people do is to start prepping in whatever way you feel safe and comfortable doing. This could mean starting to pre-pack, purge, declutter. If there's things that you're going to be donating, then start rounding those up, putting them in an area, and you can start itemizing them for tax deductions. You can start to purge items as well and set them out for the trash. And you can start organizing and pre-packing and put those in a neat area in the house. The other thing, if you feel comfortable, there are still a lot of people who are having home inspections for their houses right now. And they are specifically pre-listing home inspections. So again, if you feel safe and comfortable and the home inspection companies are employing some additional health measures and there's some additional things that you can talk to your agent about that you can do that are going to be very similar to showing protections when you show your house, but have your home pre-inspected. And then there might be a number of things that you can start doing yourself to address some of the deficiencies found in the inspection report so that when this market does start heating back up again, and it will, that you can be one of the first ones to go on the market and beat the other rush and stand out from the crowd and be one of the first ones to sell, which will probably end up netting you more money.
Right. So I know personally in my own life, my in-laws are trying to sell their home. They redid everything before Corona and then they put it on the market. But like you mentioned, traffic is still there because there are homes selling, but it's down right now. So if there are people such as my in-laws that find themselves on this, my house is for sale in that boat, what can they do to either increase showings if there are still showings or make themselves more visible? What can they do in this interim or in this kind of downtime?
So that's a great question, and I mean the answer is going to be it's going to be very limited because there are a limited number of buyers out there looking. Let's face it. But The most important thing is think about where your buyers are looking right now. They're looking online, they're looking virtually. According to the National Association of Realtors, 93% of all showings start online. So what does that mean? You need to have professional real estate photos taken of your house. If not, make sure that you do that. You need to have a virtual tour. If you can have a 3D tour, have a 3D tour. If you can post floor plans of your house online, post a list of updates, utilities, schools, amenities, whatever. If you can do, if your home is up for it, do a drone flyby so people can see what is in the general area. In other words, make your home as appealing online as you possibly can, number one. Number two, give buyers as much information as they could possibly get online without physically walking through the house. So a lot of these tours that I've referenced will be like they're walking through the house, and they can take a virtual walkthrough of your house without actually being there. We are noticing a lot of online traffic increasing right now for this very reason. People are not
Okay.
working, they're stuck at home, they're bored. What are they doing? This is the time where most people are going to be buying and selling houses. This is our busy season right now.
Right.
And we're not able to do nearly as much as we should be able to do right now. So people are confined to their homes and their computers, and they're looking online for houses. So make sure that your house looks the absolute best that it can. And if you need some advice or some hints, number one, talk to your real estate agent. But number two, look online. Look at what your competition is doing. Then ask yourself this question: if I wanted to be the next house to sell, what would I need to do in order to make that happen? And it's going to involve not only your condition, the way it looks online, but also your price. And price it to be competitive, not giving it away, but price it to be competitive so it's the next one to sell.
That makes sense. So I know that you mentioned you've been classified as essential, which is great. But I've had a couple clients come to us in the last week that said, "Hey, we're working through an estate, and part of that is to sell a home, and I'm supposed to have a closing on X date. Is that still going to happen? And if so, what does that look like now?"
Good question. So, as with everything, things are fluid.
Right.
But right now, the real estate industry and all of its affiliated businesses are included as essential. So I'm on the phone virtually daily with our title companies and lenders,
Okay.
and asking them what are they currently doing right now. So title companies have zero intent to shut down. They are closing all of their loans. The difference is that they are employing a lot more health and safety guidelines. For example, only the people who are signing documents are going to be allowed at most of the title companies' closing rooms. In other words, your buyer and seller, and then your closer. Real estate agents are strongly advised not to attend. Same with lenders, same with family members. Children will not be allowed in closing rooms. You attorneys, you are not allowed at the closing room anymore. You are encouraged to be there on the phone if you are needed, but they are trying to minimize the spread of any germs. The second thing is that they will also put you in two separate rooms. So they'll have the buyers in one room, they'll have the sellers in another room,
Okay.
and then the closer will then just move from one room to the next, sanitize hands in between. And the pen that you start using will be the pen that gets thrown away or you take with you. So,
Right.
and they are also sanitizing the rooms. So the chairs, the tables, the light switches, the doorknobs, everything will be sanitized in between each and every closing. So they're trying to minimize contact with as many people as possible.
Okay. All right. Well, that kind of gives me a little bit more comfort in the sense that some of these people were afraid they were going to have to put things off. So I'm glad to know that there are plans in place, which kind of leads me to my next question, back to the selling process in terms of showings. I know personally my in-laws are still comfortable with showings, but A, is that still allowed? And B, if not, what are some alternatives?
Good question. So alternatives for showings. If you want an in-person showing, um, we start usually buyers sellers are not encouraged to be at the home for showings anyway. So
Right.
go outside, take a walk, drive around the block or something. Just do not be there. We are encouraging you to leave all the lights on and do not ask the buyers to turn them off. Leave all doors ajar so people do not have to touch any doorknobs. And we also encourage all sellers to have booties at the front door, along with rubber gloves, as well as hand sanitizer. And they are required to not only put those on upon entering and utilize those, but then take them off immediately upon finishing the showing. Some agents are electing to stay downstairs in one room, letting their clients go through the house. And then if they want their agent to see anything in the house, they'll specifically go up there separately, then they'll go outside and have a conversation at a safe distance. So that's how we're handling that at this point in time. A lot of people are doing things virtually, and quite frankly, technology has gotten so good that people are buying houses fairly comfortably, sight unseen, but they're doing it virtually. So last year, I sold a number of houses where the buyers never saw the houses, and that was pre-coronavirus. So
Right.
people feel a lot more comfortable. Again, going back to the prior question, put as much information online as you possibly can so that buyers do feel comfortable and can still write an offer on your home, even if they haven't actually seen it in person.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Especially for those folks that either are moving to Indiana or Indianapolis from somewhere else, or just don't feel comfortable getting out of their house. I love that idea. So I think we've covered pretty much everything I had questions on, but what else do you want either your clients or our clients that might be in the process of thinking about selling or in the middle of selling, or they are those buyers? What else would you want them to know?
So at the end, I think this is going to echo what a lot of the messages from service providers are saying right now. Number one, we're going to get through this.
Right.
We don't know how long this is going to take, but we will get through it. The real estate market is resilient. It will come back. That's why we're deemed to be essential, because quite frankly, we make up the most single category for the wealth of the country.
Mhm.
So we need the real estate market to succeed, and it is going to continue to succeed. It's continuing to move. You do what you feel most comfortable doing. If you don't feel comfortable going out and looking at houses, if you don't feel comfortable putting your house on the market, then by all means, keep it off. You should only do what you feel comfortable and safe doing. If you're in a high risk category, as defined by the CDC, you might want to consider keeping your house off the market for health reasons. But if you do need to sell, and there are a lot of people out there, and statistics have shown that need to sell, put your house on the market. Have an agent who's familiar with the new prescriptions by the CDC and what MIBOR is telling buyers and sellers to do, to adhere to remain safe and healthy. And then make sure that your home is as visible as possible online. I just cannot stress that enough. That is absolutely critical. And lastly, we can do virtual open houses too. So if you want to have your agent go through and you're out of the house and they go through and just do a virtual open house via Zoom call, and then have people call in or comment as they're going through the house, those have also been very successful. So lots of tools out there. If you feel like you need to sell right now, there are absolutely things that we can do to make that successful. And the numbers are showing that houses are still selling. Just don't expect people to be beating down your door to come in right now. That'll happen a little later this year, but
Right, right.
just be patient.
Right. Well, I thank you so much for your time today. And if there is any questions by our clients, what is a good way for them to get in touch with you?
So the best way to reach me is via email at steve@welcome, the number 2, Indy, INDY.com, steve@welcome2indy.com, or phone number 317-573-1880. And that number again is 317-573-1880.
All right. Thank you so much for your time and sharing all of this new and knowledgeable information. And like you said, we just want folks to stay positive because this will eventually end. But in the meantime, we're here to help you all navigate through it. Thanks, guys, so
Absolutely.
much for
Thank you
listening.
again.